Welcome to Finance Horizon, where we break down the latest in business, economics, and policies that shape our world. If you're curious about Elon Musk's ambitious plans with DOGE and how they might impact federal spending, you're in the right place. Before we dive in, don't forget to hit that subscribe button to stay updated with more insightful stories like this. Make sure to like this video if you find it helpful, share it with friends who love finance and politics, and drop us a comment with your thoughts. What do you think about these potential budget cuts? And don't forget to tap the notification bell so you'll never miss our next deep dive. Let's jump into the story. Elon Musk's DOGE targets federal spending, potential cuts and challenges ahead. Billionaires Elon Musk and Vivek Ramaswamy, co-heads of the forthcoming Trump administration's Department of Government Efficiency Commission, known as DOGE, are reportedly preparing a plan to reduce federal spending. While Musk has suggested the cuts could total as much as $2 trillion, the details of how such reductions will be implemented remain unclear. Here's a breakdown of the possible areas targeted for cuts and the challenges facing this initiative. Key focus areas. Pentagon. Vivek Ramaswamy indicated that reducing the Defense Department's budget would be a significant priority. He pointed out the agency's nearly $1 trillion budget, arguing that there is a lack of transparency in its expenditure. SpaceX, a company owned by Musk, reportedly holds $3.6 billion in federal contracts with the Pentagon. However, the specifics of where cuts would be made remain uncertain. Department of Education. Efforts to dismantle the Department of Education have been part of former President Trump's agenda for years. Ramaswamy reinforced this position, stating there would likely be mass reductions in the department, with some agencies potentially being eliminated altogether. Corporation for Public Broadcasting. Musk and Ramaswamy criticized the $535 million annual budget allocated to the Corporation for Public Broadcasting in a Wall Street Journal op-ed, calling it an example of unauthorized spending. Although the organization was created and authorized by Congress, they argue the funds are being used in unintended ways. Planned Parenthood. The commission also proposed cutting nearly $300 million in federal support for progressive organizations like Planned Parenthood. However, government records show that Planned Parenthood receives around $50 million annually in federal funding. International organizations. A proposed reduction of $1.5 billion in grants to international organizations has been mentioned, although it is unclear which specific organizations might be affected. Internal Revenue Service, IRS. DOGE reportedly plans to simplify the tax code, which could impact IRS operations. Musk is also said to be in discussions with the agency about developing a free tax filing app. However, specific details about cuts to the IRS have not been disclosed. Other agencies. The Wall Street Journal reported that cuts could extend to the Federal Trade Commission, FTC, Department of Justice, DOJ, and Securities and Exchange Commission, SEC. However, no official announcements have been made about these agencies. Additional potential areas for cuts. Ramaswamy has advocated for defunding programs that are no longer authorized by Congress. While specific programs haven't been identified, some expiring authorizations this year include veterans health care, drug development initiatives, and NASA programs. Musk's SpaceX, which has $11.8 billion in federal contracts, could also be impacted by changes to NASA funding. Musk has also shared posts on X, formerly Twitter, highlighting questionable federal spending, such as funds allocated for unconventional research projects or duplicate payments, suggesting these areas could present further opportunities for savings. Challenges in implementing cuts. The ability of DOGE to reduce federal spending through executive action alone has been met with skepticism. Musk and Ramaswamy acknowledged in their Wall Street Journal op-ed that constraints like the Impoundment Control Act, which prevents the president from unilaterally halting congressionally approved spending, could pose legal challenges. The act, established in 1974, was designed to prevent presidents from blocking funding for programs they oppose. Significant budget changes, including tax reforms, would require approval from Congress, complicating DOGE's efforts to enact widespread reductions without legislative support. Impact on federal employees. DOGE plans to embed its appointees into government agencies to evaluate staffing and identify the minimum number of employees required to maintain core operations. This initiative is expected to lead to significant workforce reductions, including layoffs and relocations of federal agencies from Washington, D.C. Musk and Ramaswamy have proposed offering severance packages and incentives for early retirement to support employees transitioning to the private sector. They also anticipate that a mandatory return to office policy requiring employees to work in person 5 days a week could prompt voluntary resignations. Potential savings. According to Brian Riedel, a senior fellow at the Manhattan Institute, Annual salaries and benefits for federal employees account for roughly $305 billion of the $6 trillion federal budget. Even if 25% of federal employees were laid off, a significant estimate, it would only reduce spending by about 1%. This highlights the difficulty of achieving large-scale budget cuts through workforce reductions alone. Timeline for implementation. Representative James Comer, RKY, chair of the House Oversight Committee, recently appointed Representative Marjorie Taylor Greene, Republican Georgia, to lead a new subcommittee that will collaborate with DOGE to address government waste. The subcommittee is expected to begin work early next year, with a deadline for implementing cuts set for July 4, 2026. Musk has expressed confidence that the cuts could be completed sooner. Wealth and influence of key players. Elon Musk, whose net worth is estimated at $320 billion by Forbes, remains the world's richest person, with much of his wealth tied to Tesla and SpaceX. His role with DOGE, however, does not require him to divest from his private investments. Similarly, Vivek Ramaswamy, who recently surpassed the $1 billion net worth mark, is leveraging his financial expertise as he collaborates with Musk to lead DOGE's initiatives. Conclusion. DOGE's ambitious goal to slash $2 trillion in federal spending faces significant logistical, legal, and political hurdles. While the initiative has outlined broad areas for potential cuts, the feasibility of these measures remains uncertain, with many specifics still lacking clarity. The next steps will likely depend on negotiations with Congress, the scope of executive authority, and the ability of DOGE to garner public and political support for its vision.